All right, Rob. Look, you did not believe in the Lions going into the game. You said if they lose, they're fugazi. Well, they won. Now what you got to say?
Well, my takeaway is not about the Lions. It's about the Kansas City Chiefs and more so Patrick Mahomes. Last night was a break from the script that we've seen during Patrick Mahomes' career. In moments like last night, Chris, even when things aren't going the way that it normally goes, he usually pulls out the Superman cape at the end and wins the game for the Chiefs. No matter who's there, hell or high water, Patrick Mahomes usually shows up in the nick of time to make it happen. Chris, in his short career, 18
Tell Rob G to get out of here.
Game-winning drives.
I hear him.
In his career. 4 of those in the postseason. Last night he got the ball back, 4 and out. In the second half, stinky, 2 for 12. 2 field goals in a game at home against the team.
2 for 12, you mean in his series possessions?
Right.
Yeah.
2 for 12.
Because people might think he only completed 2.
Yeah, 2 for
12 passes.
Right. And he also in a game against the Lions at home, they hang the banner up, and you were one of them. A lot of people, doesn't matter who's playing. You got Patrick Mahomes, and normally you're right. Normally it has added up. No matter who comes and who goes, it seems like the Chiefs keep rolling on. Last night was a break from that. I'm not saying it's the end of anything, but last night was different to watch him not be able to. We talked before the game. You remember the 2 touchdowns, which was the spread, what do they call those bets? Prop bets,
Right.
Over 2, and he wound up with 2. He had a pick 6. There were receivers didn't help him, but this was the first time, Chris, down by 1 with the ball, a couple minutes to go. This is Patrick Mahomes' time. Drive the team down, they kick a field goal. They win the game. They don't cover. I told you last night. I thought they would win, but they wouldn't cover because those are the kind of games. We talked about it again yesterday. What were they? 8 or 8? What was their record? They didn't cover. They were like 9 and 8, Chris, as far as covering. They don't normally cover. They win. And last night was a difference of them not winning. And I don't know. I mean, how many times can you keep taking away piece by piece? Kelsey's a big piece. People could just say, "Oh, it doesn't matter." So
it doesn't sound like you're making like I don't know what the word is, but like a statement on Mahomes. You're just saying last night was a departure from the norm.
Yes, and it felt different to me to see him not be able to pull that game out, Chris.
We're so used to him doing that. I give you that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like last night was weird. When I watched it, the Lions played well. Patrick Mahomes got the ball in the last 2 minutes, Chris. They drive down. They're up by 1. They kick the field goal, and the Chiefs win, and all is good in Chief land no matter who's playing. That didn't happen last night.
Here's the thing. And we so often, all of us get caught up in it, giving the quarterbacks all the glory and credit, right? Tom Brady's got 6 Super Bowls. And then it's a long time before you start naming his teammates. He got 7, actually. But, before you start naming his teammates.
Or the Super Bowl he won.
Patrick Mahomes got 2. Right. Like, we always give the quarterback the credit. But the fact is, and last night was evidence, it is the ultimate team game. Ultimate team game. Now, here's where I would depart with you, Rob. And Patrick Mahomes wasn't perfect by any stretch. Wasn't a tremendous game by him. But Patrick Mahomes wasn't the problem. Had he gotten just a tad, a wee bit of help, it would have been another big moment. Because those dudes could not catch the football. Kadarius, first of all, the pick 6. Just that one by itself. You could not have thrown it any better. It hit Kadarius. My father used to say this. I was a wide receiver. He used to say it hit you in a bad spot, the hands. when you drop a pass. It hit Kadarius Toney in the hands. One of my coaches used to tell receivers when they drop passes, you couldn't catch that if it had a handle on it. And then Kadarius Toney couldn't catch the ball if it had a handle on it last night. And that interception and pick six, yes, it goes on Patrick Mahomes' record, just like every other quarterback's. It always evens out. I'm not worried about, oh, he's got an interception that he didn't deserve. But that was thrown right at Kadarius Toney. It went right through his hands, and Brian Branch, give him credit, the rookie, caught it and returned it for a touchdown. That was not Patrick Mahomes' fault. And then, Rob, the late drive you're talking about, he hit Sky Moore, 17 yards. Up. Let's bring it back because there's holding on our offensive line. Then he hit, of course, Kadarius Toney strikes again, drops another pass. And then the last play, 4th and 25, Rob. Now, that's desperation. He heaved it up there. But guess what? It hit Sky Moore in a bad spot. The hands. He could have caught it. It would have been a tough catch, no doubt. But he had a chance. And so, to me, last night, really what it says, and I think, Rob, I do have a little bit of I'm not saying, look, the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. I think they're a contender, all that. But I think, Rob, they may be taking Patrick Mahomes for granted. Because no matter how good you are, your receivers have to catch the football. And yeah, they won it without Tyreek Hill. Did that make their ownership think, man, we got Patrick Mahomes. We can throw anybody out there. Because, Rob, do they have a definitive number 2 receiver on their receiving core? Kelsey obviously is great, but he's a tight end. Of the receiving room, is there a definitive number 2? Forget number 1, because there's not one. At least not yet. One of these young kids, maybe they develop, maybe not. Kadarius Toney couldn't catch a cold last night. And he's always injured to boot. All right? Marcus Valdez-Scantling, I like him, but he's a number 3. Sky Moore, who knows what he'll be. He didn't look great last night. All right? Rashee Rice and Justin Watson, we'll see what they become. But there is not a player or receiver on that roster that you can definitively say, he's at least the number 2. Last year, at least you had Juju Smith-Schuster. DeAndre Hopkins, Rob, wanted to go there. The Chiefs didn't pay him much mind. OBJ wanted to go there. Chiefs didn't pay him much mind. What I saw last night was, are they taking Patrick Mahomes for granted? Yeah, Tom Brady won with some mediocre receivers, but they always had one of the absolute best defenses in the league in those years. And the offenses back then weren't as high-powered. I'm not saying they weren't good, and some were, like the Rams and all that. But it wasn't like today where you need to put up 32 usually to win.
All right, hey, let me give you one last stat. As a whole, Mahomes completed 46% of his passes.
Yeah, because 4 of them were dropped.
10 of 22 to receivers. It was the 35th time he's attempted 20 or more passes to receivers in a game. It was his worst completion percentage of those 35 games. And you know what? I thought of Jim Irsay last night when I was watching the game. Because anybody could play. Well, just put anybody out there. That's what he told. It doesn't matter. Nobody matters because the NFL will keep going no matter what. Oh, yeah, no, but you might not be winning. I'll tell you that.
What, I didn't think of Irsay, but I did think when I was watching that game, Rob, I did, and I told Rob G this earlier, I was like, it's a shame what they're doing to these running backs. Because David Montgomery, I know the stats don't look tremendous. He ran his tail off. Jahmyr Gibbs got game, the rookie out of Alabama. They didn't gain any yards, but Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they run hard. Them boys run hard. They didn't get many yards, but they ran hard last night. So, yeah, the running back, this has to change the way they're devaluing them because those dudes are taking hits and doing what all the other positions are doing, making an impact on the game.